What's up guys, how are you guys doing? In this video we're gonna be doing Chaos Zero Nightmare, of course, and in this video, as you guys guessed it, we're gonna be talking about FEI. Okay, so we finally got FEI in the game, and yeah, she's really fun, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so we're gonna talk about her, we're gonna talk about her card, and we're gonna talk about her save data, and we're gonna talk about the team comps and stuff like that you guys can use with her. Okay, and of course memory fragments as well, right? So yeah, so FEI, she's a very interesting character, right? She's another like extra hit stacking type character, but she's a little different than Melian, for example. Right? For Melian, she's able to stack a bunch of extra hits on one of her cards and then do a massive nuke. But for FEI, she could actually do multiple times. Okay, she could stack her extra hits multiple times. So that's a little different and it's better, right? Because I think with FEI specifically, the elasticity like debuff on enemies, like that doesn't affect her per se, right? It doesn't affect her extra attacks, right? Compared to Melian, because on Melian, if you use her extra attacks, right? If you use her passion stacking extra attack card right here, right, which is this one right here, you actually, if the enemy got elasticity, you'll be doing like 1 damage, right, after a certain like a number of hits. Okay, but for FEI it's a little different. Okay, so yeah, she's very fun, guys. Okay, so we're gonna talk about her cards first. Okay, so her basic cards are pretty good actually. So what FEI have is like she has this flame artist, and this flame artist once they reach 3 stacks right here, you're gonna be doing 120% extra damage to the enemy that was attacked last, right? Which is really good, right? And of course, whenever this activates, you decrease flame art stacks. Okay, so you could do 2 different builds with that, right? One is focusing on getting a bunch of flame stacks, and the other one is, generating these guys right here, the Infernal Rhapsody, right? Cards. And just doing multiple hits. Okay, so let's talk about her first card. Okay, we got Exorcism Formation, right? What the Exorcism Formation is? It's on draw through an ability, 1 descent, create 8 Infernal Rhapsody in the draw pile, right? This is amazing effect right here. Of course, she does also have a Heaven's Fall card right here, which is a really good one as well, right? This is one of her like main damage dealing card as well, right? But yeah, this is really good because it's pretty much, right, whenever you draw anything, you get this descent right here, and this descent is when descent stacks to 8 or more, creates 1 Heaven's Fall, right? So as you can see, Heaven's Fall is this card right here. Okay, so that's how she works. Okay, that's why you need those descent stacks as well. Okay, and then in hand, and then when Heaven's Fall is created, decrease descent by 8, activates max 10 times per turn, right? This is really good as well, right? You could activate this 10 times per turn, but to create 1 Heaven Fall, you're gonna need 8 of these descent stacks, right? These descent stacks, so it's kind of expensive, but it's actually a lot simpler to get this when you actually use it. Okay, next card is this right here. Let's call that, I think, Soli Loki or something like that, right? That's a crazy name, I'm not gonna, right? And what this Soli Loki card does is it's a draw 2, and of those draw cards, discard all 1 cost or higher cards. Of course, this can change, based on the finish, but this is the base version. Okay, so it's pretty good actually. This is her like draw ability. So what this is useful for is, of course, to let you draw these Infernal Rhapsody cards. Okay, because she's able to create a bunch of these guys, and then you could draw them out using this card right here. Okay, and if we look at these guys right here, what the Infernal Rhapsody does is right here. So 71% damage, right? 1 Flame Art. When Flame Art is activated through this card, draw 1, right? This is an amazing effect right here, right? So you just get a draw 1 on a 0 cost card. Okay, and this Flame Art you pretty much can get like every turn. Okay, yeah, you can get up to like 5+ stack every turn, so it's pretty good right here. Okay, so this is a really nice card for her, of course. And then we got the Night Rain card right here. What it does is it will give you 1 Flame Art and then a streak. This is a new mechanic, right? What this means is if the last card used was the same attribute, enable effect, right? So what this means is if you are using another void character, right, and they use a card, you're gonna get this streak effect. Okay, but if you have like a passion character with her and the passion character use a card, you actually don't get the streak. Okay, so you have to use it with at least 1 void character, okay, to get the streak stuff right here. Okay, and yeah, once you have streak, you'll be able to draw one of these Infernal Rhapsody cards. Okay, so very simple right there. And she has this thing that scales with X amount right here, which is your AP cost. Okay, so this card is really good, right? It's one of our, like, you know, high damage dealing card right here. So what it does, it would do 102% damage times X plus 1 and then draw X, right? What's the X's? You guys already know, right? Based on the amount of AP you have, if you use this card and you have like 5 AP, you're gonna be, you know, getting a massive, you know, extra hits on this, okay? Because it says plus 1, right? That's plus 1 hit, and you're also gonna get a bunch of draws as well, right? So very, very good right here. But you don't usually use you know, the X build for her, in my opinion, but there's a couple of things you could do with this, okay? And then we have her last card right here, Blazing War Dance. What this does, it will move Infernal Rhapsody to hand for each descent gains this turn, okay? So as you can see, the way you get those descent stacks is, of course, just through this card right here, okay? The exorcised formation, right? This card does provide you with descent, right? So if you have, let's say, this thing kind of stack up to like, I think 13 times if I'm not mistaken, and even more, right? You could stack this thing up a lot. So if you have a bunch of descent, you know what I'm saying, stack right here, you're actually gonna be able to draw a bunch of these guys right here, okay? The Infernal Rhapsody cards, okay? And of course you have a different one called Infernal Rhapsody Haven, what it does, would do 112% damage, right? And then 1 Flame Art, and then 1 Flame Art is activated through this card, 3 Descent. This is really good as well, right? Just to give you more decent stacks right here, okay? So yeah, you could either utilize this right here, or you can utilize this right here. This one is really good because it will actually let you get the Haven's Fall card a lot faster, okay? Because again, Haven's Fall activates once you have enough, you know, decent stacks right here, okay? So yeah, very, very good skill right here. Of course, you don't have a funny on this, so this is, you know, one of her main utility card, okay? And this thing right here, with her ultimate, is actually absolutely broken, okay? So what this her ultimate does is, it will give you 8 descent straight away, right? As soon as you use it, you're gonna get 8 descent, right? And for 2 turns, at the start of the turn, right, you're gonna get 8 descent, increased damage amount of the next Haven's Fall by 100%. This, you activate this right here, and then you activate this, is instant max stack on this thing, okay? So it's very, very good right here, okay? So the ultimate synergizes really well with this right here, okay? So just make sure to use the ultimate first if you have it, and then use this card, okay? If you have like 0 stacks of this descent right here, okay? So yeah, that way you could, you know, you'll be able to, you know, draw a bunch of these guys, right? So let's say you have like 8 descent stacks, then you'll be able to draw 8 of these guys right here, which means you could activate them and then do damage, right? So yeah, her ultimate and this, they synergize really well, okay? So now let's talk about what kind of save data we're going to be using for her, okay? So I have 2 different builds. Currently this is my favorite one. The reason we went with this one is, of course, we went with this Epiphany right here. So if we look at her Epiphanies right here, so this card right here, in my opinion, right, the best Epiphanies for this one is this one right here, because this one, what it does have initiation plus a unique, right? And then on draw through an ability, 1 descent and creates 6 Infernal Rhapsody Haven in draw pile, right? So this is amazing effect right here, okay? So yeah, I like this build, right? I like this specific Epiphany when it comes to her specific like playstyle. This one is also a really good one right here, okay? The fourth Epiphany right here, what this fourth Epiphany does is, on draw through an ability, right, you get 1 descent, right? So every time you draw anything, you're gonna get 1 descent, right? And then it will create 7 Infernal Rhapsody in draw pile. And then it will do, when Flame Art is activated, 100% extra damage right here, okay? Not sure what this FC is, I'm not gonna lie, with the bracket FC, I don't know what that means, but whatever. If you guys know that, you guys know, right? But yeah, again, this will pretty much, you know, give you more extra attacks, and then, you know, when Flame Arts is activated, right, and you'll be able to get Flame Arts very easily, right? So these 2 right here, right, the 4th and the 5th, really good one, right? This one's decent, right, because it does have a draw tool on this, but it's not nothing crazy right here, because what does it would do on draw through an ability, 1 descent, and then will create 8 Infernal Rhapsody in draw pile, and then would let you draw 2. So it's like a 0 cost draw 2. So, you know, if you want to use her as support, you guys can go for this one, okay? Next up is this one right here. So solely low Q or whatever. Yeah, that word is crazy. I'm not going. This one, my favorite one is definitely this one right here. Okay, this one, the reason why it's really good is because it will let you draw 0 cost cards of this unit, which means you'll be able to draw pretty much any of the Infernal Rhapsody, right? You create a bunch of these guys in the draw pile, right? And then you use this Epiphany right here, right? And then you'll be able to draw 2 of them, right, every time. So if you are going with specifics, you know, Epiphany, you guys gonna need, you know, at least 3 to 4 dupes of this, okay? So you guys can pulls the Inferno Rhapsody cards like very aggressively, right? So this is very good right here. And another one, really good one I like is, of course, this one right here. Okay, the activate 3 Inferno Rhapsody in drop out on the target. Yeah, so drop out on the target, and then it will give you 2 descent for each activated cards. Okay, so what this means is, as you can see, right, in drop out on the target, right? This one, if you want to get a quick, descent stack, this is a really good one. Okay, because it will activate 3 Inferno cards right here. So it will activate any of these guys, 3 of these guys right here, and then each time the thing you activate, you get 2 descent, right? So pretty much if you use 3 of them, you're gonna get 6 descent right here. So this is very easy to get the Havenfall card very quickly, okay? Because yeah, you get those stacks very quickly right here, okay? But of course, if you guys are going for the specific you know what I'm saying, Epiphany right here, you guys gonna need the Divine Epiphany that let you reduce the cost, okay? Because that would be a game changer for her, okay? Because yeah, one cost is kind of expensive, and you're most likely gonna duplicate this, right? A couple of times. So this is really good if you have a 0 cost version of this, okay? So just keep that in mind, okay? But the other ones are okay. If you want to do an X build, you guys can go for this one, right? It would draw 1 card with a cost of X, and then apply the X of that card as X plus 1 until used, right? So this is very good, right? This is pretty much scalable with how much AP you have and stuff like that, and it will let you draw other X cards, okay? So if you use that, you'll be able to draw this thing out as well, right? Because it's an X card right here, okay? But personally, like I said, right, these two are my favorite, right? This one and this one, really good one right here, okay? Next up is her Night Train card right here, and for Night Train card right here, so one of my favorite one is, of course, this one right here, okay? This one is really good, right? It will give you 2 flame arts and at the start of the turn, move to hand. This is very good, right? So you use this, and then at the end of the turn, right, you're gonna get this card on your hand again, right? Because yeah, it will just cycle very easily. So yeah, this one's really good, right? If you want to get a bunch of flame stacks quickly, so you guys can get the extra damage right here. Okay, the 120% right here. And the other Epiphany I like really much is like this one right here. Okay, so Night Train, that will give you 1 flame art, and then you get, if you have streak, you're gonna be able to draw 2 Infernal Rhapsody cards, okay? So this is another way to draw these Infernal Rhapsody cards, okay? These are her main cards, okay? This is how you're gonna be utilizing her kit, and then you'll be able to create the Havenfall card as well, right? We're using these guys right here, okay? But so this one's really good as well, right? So just the base version, but with a draw plus 2, right? So very good right here. So those two are my favorite one. But you guys can do this as well, right? If you guys are trying to go for an X build, I'm probably gonna do another save data with the X build and see how that's gonna play out. But yeah, this one's really good as well, right? It would give you a 1 flame art, right? And then if you have streak, you're gonna apply the next X as X plus 2, right? So it would just add extra hit to this. So very good right there. This one is my favorite, like I said, and this one's okay as well, right? It will give you 1 flame art for each Infernal Rhapsody in graveyard. So if you use a bunch of these guys right here, right, you're gonna get a bunch of flame arts based on how many of them are in the graveyard, right? So that's okay, right? But those are my favorite one, right? And then for this one right here, right, Soulfire Dance, I think the best one is probably this one right here, right? The upgrade version that lets you add 1 hit to flame arts. Alright, this is really good. So what this means is when she have like flame artists, she actually go and do a new animation that lets her do extra attacks. So she's sort of like a firebolt thing, and then she does damage, right? Whenever you use her Infernal Rhapsody cards, okay? So if you activate this, you're gonna be adding extra hit to that. So this is really good, right? If you have the reduced cost on this, even better, right? Because yeah, this 2 is a bit expensive, right? And the other one is, of course, you guys can kinda use is, of course, this one right here, okay? For the X build, right, it would draw X amount and then X flame arts times 2 and then X descent, right? So yeah, you just get decent flame arts and draw based on the AP right here, okay? So this one's okay as well, right? Like I said, if you are trying to do X build, okay? This one is interesting, right? I do want to try this as well, right? This one seems interesting, right? What it does, it would do 153% damage, right, times X plus 1, right, and the increased damage amount of the next Haven's Fall by 50% for each hit count, right? This is insane, and this thing can stack up to 500%. So yeah, you guys can probably do some insane damage with the Haven Fall using this right here. So this, I do want to try this out. I'm not gonna lie. So if I manage to get optimal build with this, I will probably do a showcase on this. But yeah, this one sounds interesting. I'm not gonna lie, right? So yeah. But right now I'm only using this one right here because this one's really good. Okay, but those are my favorite like save data, so like epiphanies. Okay, but now let's talk about her save data. Okay, of course memory fragment wise, I'm just using a 2-piece here, right? I think 2-piece is the way you want to go for her, because she doesn't really have like a a specific set you should use, right, to boost her damage, like a 4 set piece. But this is okay, right? The pieces are always good, right? You got 2-piece crit damage. You got I just went with the Agni one right here. It's okay, and then you get the 2-piece attack right here. Okay, so but let's talk about her save data. Okay, so this is my first save data right here. As you can see, this is revolving around drawing a bunch of these Infernal Rhapsody right here, because I have I was hoping to duplicate this 4 times actually, but 3 is enough, right? So this one, I just use these guys to draw a bunch of the Infernal Rhapsody cards, and then this one lets me create a bunch of them in the draw pad, right? So I could, so I'm able to draw them, right? So as you can see, on draws to run ability, 1 distance creates 7 Infernal Rhapsody in draw pile, right? And then if C, right, I don't know what that means. When Flame Artist is activated, 100 extra attack to the target, right? Very simple right there. And then you have this one right here with the draw 2 Infernal Rhapsody effect right here. Okay, again, this is another way I'm able to draw a bunch of the Infernal Rhapsody right here. Okay, and then I went with this one right here. As you can see, it's the add 1 hit to Flame Artist, and then we have this one right here. This one you don't get any funny on it, but it's a really good card right here. Okay, it's a skill, but with ultimate you are able to do a massive damage, right? Because it will let you draw pretty much a bunch of these guys right here, and you can use them to do damage, right? So this is a really good card right here. Okay, and then, but it does have exhaust, unfortunately, right? Which is kind of lame, I'm not gonna lie, right? And I've got one with a Forbidden Gesture of Freedom right here, just to let me decrease the cost of random cards. The only reason I went with that is just to hopefully reduce the cost on this, right? Because yeah, 2 is a little expensive, so you might be short on AP and stuff like that. Okay, so that's my first stuff right here, revolving around drawing out a bunch of Infernal Rhapsody and doing damage, and of course creating the Haven's Falls as well, right? So very good right there. And then the second is revolving around getting a bunch of Flame Arts. Okay, so this is the build right here. Of course, don't mind this is absolutely trash. I was hoping to get the one that let me, when the cards when this card is discarded, it will activate to get a bunch of morals, but I didn't get it, so I'm probably gonna end up delaying this card right here, right? This person is absolute trash, but setup wise, this is the setup, right? So for this one, it's a really nice one because I did get a reduced cost on this as well, right? But this one is just trying to get a bunch of Flame Arts. Okay, so on draw through an ability, 1 descent and create 6 Infernal Rhapsody Haven in draw pad, right? So this is really good. Again, right, this Haven one is the basic one in my opinion, right, when it comes to Infernal Rhapsody, because it lets you get the descent right here. Okay, so this pretty much lets me get a bunch of Flame Arts plus a bunch of descent as well, right? So this is a really good one right here. So yeah, I went with this one specifically, right? And I do have the effect that applies combo to this card. So again, I can activate it without any AP cost, right? So because anytime I use somebody else's card, this thing will activate as well. So very good right there. And then of course we went with the activate 3 Infernal Rhapsody and drop out effect right here. Okay, so we create the Infernal Rhapsodies, and then we can activate them right here on the target, and then 2 distance for each activated cards, right? So this gives me a bunch of distance so right here. And I do have 2 dupes of this. The reason I have 2 dupes is, of course, I'm going to turn one of them into this right here. Okay, so if you look at this one right here, so I'm going to turn one of them into the draw 2 right here. Okay, but outside of that, this is the setup right here. I got 2 dupes, and I have 3 of these guys right here. Right, that lets me create 2 Flame Arts, and at the start of the turn, move to hand. Yes, pretty much lets me get a bunch of Flame Arts. Okay, so with this build, you are able to get at least 5 Flame Arts every turn. Okay, so it's a really good one right here. And then we got Soulfire Dance, right, with the add 1 hit, and then we have the reduced cost on it, so we cast for 1 cost right here. And then of course we have this as well, right? So this is the second build I went with. It's a really good one. I think I like this one a little bit better. If you want to do a bunch of if you want to get a bunch of flame stacks, right? The flame, these guys right here, the Flame Art stacks, and of course generating a bunch of descent right here. So you'll be able to create this Haven Falls card right here. Okay, so those are the 2 builds I went with, right? And yeah, I think this is pretty much some of our best builds in my opinion, right? And of course, if we want to talk about partner wise, I'm using just the the 4-star partner right here. Of course, ideally you want the ideally you want her own partner right here, because this thing is really good as well, right? I love her design, by the way, right? Oh, what she does is increase the assign combat attack by 16%, right? Each time the assign combat increase, avoid attribute attack cards, right? In the draw pile, gain 1 gentle aroma, right? This thing is absolutely amazing. And when gentle aroma reaches 5 stack, you're gonna get a critical damage increase right here, okay? Plus 20%. And then gentle aroma also give you the 5% damage amount to the assign combat max 5 stacks. This is a really good one, okay? And then with the activation, you're gonna be able to draw one of the assign combat attackers. If cost of the card is either 0 or X, you'll be able to draw 2. So this is absolutely amazing partner. But I haven't gotten her partner, so I just went with the 4-star one. Yeah, so I went with this one. Rosaria is, she's pretty decent, right? Everything. What she does, because she'll be able to give you attack increase, right? 60%, and she also increases the damage amount of the assign combat extra attacks, which FEI does have extra attacks, right? And when the assign combat uses an upgrade or skill card, has a 50% chance to gain one more. Of course, FEI is able to use a bunch of skill cards as well, and she also have upgrade cards, okay? So yeah, this thing you'll be able to trigger this pretty quickly, and then you have the, draw one upgrade card. If there are no upgrade cards in the draw pile, you'll be able to draw one. So it's a really good one still, okay? So if you don't have her actual partner, this is the best one in my opinion, okay? But like I said, right? Of course, Ego Manifestation White, I haven't got any of her egos, but from what I've seen, her ego seems absolutely broken, okay? So her first dupe is as the following effect to the Blazing War Dance card, right? Increase damage amount of Infernal Rhapsody move to hand by 100% until used. This is insane build right here, okay? So you pretty much gonna be able to add the 100% damage amount to your Infernal Rhapsody cards, okay? So a really good one right here. That's a really good one for E1, okay? And her E2 is also really good, unfortunately for her kit, right? As the start of the battle, gains 6 descent. This is insane right here. And then for each for each turn, when the first Haven's Fall is created, gain 2 descent. This is insane, right? It makes it a lot easier to play as well, right? It makes generating a bunch of descent a lot easier as well, right? So if you are able to generate a bunch of these guys, you'll be able to create even more Haven's Fall right here, okay? Because this Haven Fall does a lot of damage, okay? And when the Infernal Rhapsody card is activated, inflicts 30% of the damage, inflict as fixed damage. This second part is nothing crazy, but the first part is really good, okay? And then you have the third Epiphany, the third Ego Manifestation. This is also give you increased Haven's Cleaver, right? Which is her ultimate right here. Descend by 2 and add the following effect. Add 2 hit to the next Haven Soul. This is insane as well, right? So if you have that right here, okay, if you have her E3, you're actually going to be able to do times 5 with this thing. This is insane, okay? This is absolutely broken, okay? Like, bro, her dupes are insane, okay? But the good thing is, she's a standard character, so you'll be able to, get her dupes, normal, right? Through like the normal summons and stuff like that. But her E3 is absolutely broken, okay? And not only that, you're gonna get the increased Haven's Cleaver descent by 2 a stack. So again, right, it will make it a lot easier to get even more descent from here as well, right? So yeah, her E3, her E2, E1, really good one right here. Then you have this one right here, okay? At the start of the battle, 80% damage amount to Haven's Fall. This is also another really good one, right? Yeah, most of her dupes, they focus on boosting Haven's Fall damage. Okay, so if you have E4 FEI, your Haven's Fall going to be hitting like a truck. Okay, so very good right here. And of course, this one's just basic stuff right here. And then her E6 at the start of the battle, plus 120% damage amount to Flame Artist, which is really good. And at the start of the battle, or each time 3 Haven's Fall card is used, gain 1 Judgment upon the Wicked, right? Judgment upon the Wicked, add 3 hit to Haven's Fall, and when the effect is activated, remove Judgment upon the Wicked. This is insane, bro. This is absolutely broken, okay? So, if you have, let me show you guys what I mean, right? If you have her E3, that's going to be adding plus 2 to your Haven's Fall, which is insane. So it's going to be a times 5 hit card right here. And then if you have this her E6 and you have the Judgment upon the Wicked effect on it, yeah, you're gonna be doing 8 hit on this thing, which is, bro, yeah, this thing is disgusting, okay? So yeah, her dupes are absolutely really good, right? All of them are really good dupes, okay? So yeah, again, right, if you guys are wells, definitely, man, you guys can go for her dupes, okay? Her dupes are absolutely broken, okay? And of course, potential wise, she's scaled with attack, so you want to give her as much attack as possible, because again, if you look at her passive right here, right, plus 5% damage amount to face Azure Flame, and if face attack is 500 or higher, add an additional 55% to the modifier, right? So again, right, you need to have a bunch of attack on her, right? For my FEI, I have a 55% crit rate, I had almost 200 crit damage, and then 867 attack right here. The reason I have that is, of course, because I'm using void damage boost on this, right? But you ideally want attack boost on here, right? Just to get even more effect from her passive. But that is it for FEI, man. And I'll do a quick showcase and show you guys how she works, okay? Okay, so when we come to team wise, right, for FEI, this is one team you guys can use, okay? Adelaide is gonna be really good with her, plus Nia also, right, just to help her discard cards and also later draw cards of FEI, right? So yeah, Nia, a really good one. Adelaide is really good because again, you need at least one void character with her just to get, you know, her kits like effects activated, right? So really good one right here, okay? So, and another team you guys can use, of course, you can use Veronica with her as well, right? Veronica is amazing character with any, she could work with anyone, right? She will help you draw a bunch of cards, and if you have Divine Infamy on them, you know, you get AP with the draws as well, right? So a really good one right here. And of course, Cassius, you know, he's still gonna be really good with anyone, right? He gives you moral stacks, right? He could also let you, you know, draw cards, you know, discard cards and stuff like that. So again, Cassius is really good as well, right? Another character is Tifera, right? If you are using, you know, the AP heavy setup with what's her name, right? With FEI, and if you are, you know, running the X builds, then you're gonna need a bunch of AP. So again, right, Tifera gonna be really good for that right here. Or you can use Mika as well, right? If you don't have Tifera, right? So Mika or Tifera really good with her as well. So yeah, there's a lot of characters you guys can use with her as well. And another big one is, of course, Hugo, right? Whenever she, you know, spams her cards, Hugo can do his follow-up, right, with comments and hunt and do damage as well, right? So Hugo is really good as well, right? So yeah, again, you can use Melian as well with her if you guys want, but it's not gonna be super effective, right? But yeah, I think Hugo, right, a character like Tifera, Cassius, Veronica, Nia, Adelaide, right, they're gonna be really good as well, right? So just keep that in mind, okay? Anyways, let's do this team and let's show you guys, let me show you guys how she works, okay? So we're gonna be doing I think for this one specifically, we're gonna be doing this build right here, okay? Because I do like this build a little bit better, right? So we're gonna be doing this build specifically, okay? So let's go in and let's go ahead and do this right here, okay? Oh yeah, with the new update, of course, I added a new thing called, like, you can pick like things here, right? Plus 30% damage amount to void cards when 3 cards are drawn, 50% damage to 0 cost, okay? And infinite damage amount to attack card when 4 cards discard. Okay, this one's really good. So we're gonna go with boom right here. And for this one, since we are using what's her name, Hide Mary here, we're gonna actually select this effect right here. Okay, so let's go in and let me show you guys how she works. Okay, inside the new dimensional like tower mode right here. Okay, so when you start, of course, since I have the gears that lets me discard cards at the beginning, I'm just gonna discard these two right here. Okay, I'm not actually gonna, we don't just discard that, it's fine. Boom, let's just discard this. So what I like to do is I like to go straight away and activate this right here because it's an upgrade card, right? And I like creating these guys right here. Okay, and then we could reduce the cost of here, right? So we can use Adelaide card right here, right? And then we'll be able to draw a couple of cards here. Okay, so that's the, you know, the setup for my setup right here. Okay, so this is how I play, right? So that this card lets me draw these guys out right here. Okay, the flame, like the, yeah, Infernal Rhapsody cards right here. And then of course, since we did use, you know, avoid cards right here, we could use this streak right here, right? That lets us draw even more of these Infernal Rhapsody cards. Okay, so now what we could do is we could just, you know, just spam these guys right here. Okay, boom, boom, right? And of course, they're gonna do their things, and then we can just keep moving, right? And then we could draw this right here, draw one, right? Hopefully we could pull. Okay, so we got Haven's Fall, right? So this is really good right here. What we could do here, how much you can just gonna do this right here, right? And then we're just gonna do this, and that should kill this guy right here. So that's pretty much how this works, right? Very simple right here. Of course, this is an easier stage, so you know, you'll be a little less impressive, right? If I had her ultimate right here, this will be amazing showcase right here. Okay, so but what we can do here is we could do this, discard this card right here, so we could draw our cards right here, and then I'm actually just gonna do this, so I'll be able to draw more of these Infernal cards right here. And as you can see, we have, as you can see, right, if you look at this right here, we have 6 decent stacks, and we have 2 flame arts right here. Okay, so those are what you need right here. Okay, once this thing reaches 8, you'll be able to create Heaven's Fall card right here. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so we're gonna do this right here. Okay, what I could do here is actually you know what, I'm just gonna do this right here. Right, just draw one. See, we have even fold because we did reach 8 on here, right? But now we can just do this. Boom. Right. That is an extra attack, right? Which is throw a fireball. That's your flame, like stack right here. Okay. So once you have enough of these guys, you'll be able to do that extra attack. Okay. And then we have Heaven's Fall right here. Okay. So we can use. But I'm actually gonna do the doggy morph right here first. And then once we use the attack card, we're actually gonna be able to turn that into a Teddy right here. Right. Boom boom. And then we can do the shield right here. Right. Give us massive shield. And that's pretty much how she works right here. Okay. Now we're gonna end the turn right here. Of course, see, we have the Infernal Stack card right here, right? If we use this right here, we're gonna get a streak effect, and that lets us draw even more of these guys right here, okay? So that's pretty much how you play her, okay? So very simple right here, right? You want to make sure you are keeping up the, you know, your descent stacks right here, and of course, your flame arts, okay? So that way you are able to, you know, do extra hit whenever you use this, okay? So this is pretty much how she works right here. Right, very, you know, she's actually a lot simpler, you know, to play compared to like just reading her kit, right? She might seem complicated, but when you play her, she's actually pretty simple, okay? Of course, this is the second phase, but I'll do this and I'll come back to you guys, okay? Anyways, guys, okay, that is for FEI, okay? So let me know what you guys think about FEI. I think she's a really fun character. I'm not gonna lie, I do love her design as well, right? With the umbrella and everything, yeah, she looks amazing, and she does have, you know, the only summon she is able to do as well, right? And I'm glad to include that in her animation as well, right? Which it looks insane, right? Whenever you use, I think I'm pretty sure you use like this card, if I'm not mistaken. I think you use this card, and you'll be able to see the Oni animation, right? It might be this card or this card, right? So one or the other, right? So really fun right here. But kit wise, right, she's really good. She's very strong as well, right? There are a lot of the you know, builds you guys can do with her as well. But for now, this is, you know, my for early impressions, this is what I have for her, okay? And of course, with the new, by the way, with the new save data edition right here, you're actually gonna be able to do this thing right here called mutation right here. So if you use this material right here, so if I use this mutant right here, what it does, it will apply random mutant effect to save data, right? Which is interesting, right? This is a fun addition, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it just makes your, you know, your stuff a lot stronger, right? As you can see, for this one I have the extra attack, one turn morale level 1, right? So again, and there's level 2, so you could probably increase the level on this. But yeah, it's pretty good right here. So anyways, that's it for FEI, and yeah, and her kit and stuff like that, okay? So I figured I'd just do a quick, you know, summary of her kit and what I think about her, right? I think she's really fun, and yeah, I definitely have to, I will be doing a lot of testing with her, and probably gonna do another showcase of her. But yeah, man, thanks for watching, and of course, don't forget to like and subscribe as well, and yeah, bye bye.